everybody. We are back with another one, and I'll let Mike explain what it was, but my God, I forget just the star power behind these animated episodes, considering these people just work for Marvel. But go ahead.
This one is what if Peter Quill attacked Earth's mightiest heroes? So the team that they've assembled for this, it takes place in the 80s, around the time that Peter was kidnapped by Yondu and the Ravagers. But unlike in the first Guardians of the Galaxy, Yondu does not have a change of heart. He goes right to Ego, and suddenly we have what I'd like to consider the Justice Society version of the Avengers forming.
Weirdly enough, I think that this episode is mislabeled. This episode should have been called What If Yondu Didn't Have a Change of Heart? Or What If Peter Was Given to His Dad? Because the What If He Attacked the Avengers is roughly 2 minutes of this plot.
Yeah, it's really the extent of Peter attacking the Avengers is like pretty much just the cold open.
Yeah. This is weirdly the one where they kind of just went, what is the sauciest detail? Not the actual idea of the episode. This is the weirdly most not correctly labeled one they've done.
Which is fine because it's kind of clickbait, but at the same time, you're there mostly for the all-star cast.
You are. It's just, I don't know. This one feels weird to me the way they labeled it. But yeah, so we have Ant-Man, Goliath, King T'Chaka, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, and Marvel. Yeah, this isn't like, man, even Justice Society. This might be the weirdest version of the Avengers I've seen in a hot minute.
It is weird.
Oh, and Thor, which was spoiled by the opening credits.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, they just because considering 90% of these people that played the characters are going to voice them, you see very recognizable names pop up.
That's true.
It's not like you see Crispin Freeman. Oh, I wonder who he's voicing. No, when Chris Hemsworth shows up in the credits, I wonder if Thor's going to be in it. It's like, I know we gotta have people's names in the credits, but like, couldn't we have exempted one? They do it in real movies.
That's true.
And yeah, it is a cool little wrinkle to see what would happen if Yondu actually like got a hold of Peter. Man, the fact that Kurt Russell did this is still so weird to me. That was one I had to check to make sure it was actually him, and it's actually Kurt Russell.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael Douglas. Those were two where I'm like,
yeah,
did this.
It's actually Michael Douglas. I was confused too. I thought like maybe there was a voice double, but nope.
Yeah, because he is trying significantly hard to make himself sound younger. So that's why I was like, that sounds like someone doing an inversion of Michael Douglas young. And I'm like, no, this is Michael Douglas trying to sound younger. Yeah. Getting to see Peggy see the Winter Soldier was something else.
Yeah.
That was a cool little detail. That, in my opinion, might have been the most interesting part of this entire episode. Where they're just like, yeah, the Redcoats sent us somebody because they don't want him getting there. And they just pops off. They're like, that dude looks exactly like Bucky. He's like, yeah, we heard rumors, but we weren't sure. I'm like, are we not going to address that?
No, don't worry. Good.
That walking nuke of a story detail, we're not going to address that.
I'm glad they actually drew some attention to that and that he and Howard got to have a moment.
Yeah. It's just like how they had to be like, remember, Howard Stark was a bad dad. I don't know if you know this, but Hank was too. We're going to make a what if episode of where they got to have some good dad moments. Yeah, and then we got to see Wendy Lawson before we only got to see her as the Supreme Intelligence, or what the form the Supreme Intelligence took with Carol.
Yeah, now we actually get to see her kind of act human, but still wear the colors of the Kree.
And shockingly, okay, I have to remember exactly how this happened. So Carol got her powers. Oh no, that makes sense because the other Kree were actually relatively pretty weak, so that makes sense. I was gonna say for a Kree, she had a very bog standard, not impressive set of powers. She was kind of just there to be there. She supplied the ship and then flew it a couple of times, but yeah. So Thor coming rolling in because Peter destroyed the 9 realms. That's kind of insane.
Yeah, that's I don't know how to react to that one. Just the concept of all the 9 realms being destroyed.
Which, like, the only person coming for him, which is like one of the ones that is out of bounds for I think ever doing one of these, is Anthony Hopkins. But I was like, Odin's just not around anymore, and it's just Thor gunning for this kid. But yeah, no, that was cool. I liked the moment of him going the cool little heart to heart with oh boy, can't think of her name now.
Hope.
With Hope and Peter leading to the moment at his mom's grave and everything with Bucky. That was pretty great. This was the most, we're going to mention a lot of other stuff that doesn't happen in here type of, this is the version of what everyone says Marvel movies are.
Yeah.
But it works here. Where they're mentioning 6,000 things that aren't a part of this episode but tangentially tie into it. This is that version of what everyone says it is, but it's actually happening and it's good.
Yeah, that's like I've heard some mixed reviews about this episode, partially for that reason, but at the same time, moments like Hank talking to Peter at his mom's gravesite, that reminded me very much of that episode of Justice League Unlimited where Batman is talking to Ace, pretty much stopping her from like doing the thing.
Mm-hmm. Point might be the best episode in Justice League Unlimited.
Yep, easily.
I will throw hands if people say otherwise. I don't care if Batman's not your favorite character. Nothing comes close to the 5 minutes they sat and talked on swings.
But that's sort of the energy that they're bringing to this story, and I think that works a lot better than Peter just being a mindless alien.
It is. And that is part of the reason why I'm as irritated as I am at the name of this episode. Because it's kind of saying he was a mindless drone the entire time. It's like, mislabeled it quite a bit. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like you have the characters you have because of the time period it's in. You kind of can't have them be there without mentioning other things. Because
Right.
Howard Stark on his own can't say much. And then you're going to have Bucky. Guess what? You have to mention Cap.
Yep.
And you have to mention Hope's mom. Because guess what? How else are you going to mention that Hank's a bad dad? They mentioned the things they needed to make the episode work with the time period of the subject that they picked.
Like, yes, sometimes the dialogue can be a little on the nose, but it gets, you know, the whole like theme of this episode is about bad dads,
Hmm.
with Ego being the worst one.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Could have called it "What If Three Bad Dads Met." Three bad dads and a baby. Oh yeah, it's good. It's I'm seeing that they're starting off with, I want to say, more basic ideas, which which is okay because again, looking back at the catalog of stuff coming up, they start to get a little bit more complicated. Obviously, not the I can't say that because I don't know what happens in the next one because you don't even see Hogan in the thumbnail. But it's Happy Hogan Saves Christmas. I don't know what that entails. Yeah, this is another good one. This continues a streak of just what if is always good because it doesn't have to be anything. It just exists. So unless they kind of purposely progressively shit the bed, it's almost kind of hard to make these bad because you don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, and this. I don't know how long they plan to keep this series going, but what I like about it is they can experiment with ideas that A wouldn't fit neatly into the already established MCU canon, and B maybe they just don't even want to attempt in live action, so
Oh.
they can throw ideas like this um into an anthology format, and if people like it, they might do more. If not, then it's just a one-off.
So speaking of doing more and a one-off, and given Mr. Iger's reign of terror lately, what the hell happened to Marvel Zombies?
Good question.
We have
I'm
heard literally nothing about it. And that was announced a while ago.
I'm hoping that no news doesn't necessarily mean bad news, because
Who's animating it?
I think it's just it's another. I don't know. Um, we don't know if it's coming out in 2024. It's probably going to be
I was
2025.
just gonna say, did it even have a release date?
The only shows that we know have a release date are, actually no, none of them do. They're all just vaguely 2024, like X-Men 97, Eyes of
Mhm.
Wakanda,
I forgot about
and I think next year we're even getting What If season 3, but
Oh, wow.
or maybe not. Maybe that'll be 2025, but point is they're not really. Oh, the other one was Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man.
That's right. That's right. I forgot all about that. Huh. It's just weird that that thing was announced so long ago and all about it was because of leaks. We know more about a movie coming out next year than we do about a movie that was announced, I think, before Deadpool 3.
Mm, I honestly don't remember when
But
Marvel Zombies was announced.
because it wasn't long after that What If season was done. It was their next big event, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I hope that doesn't get canceled because, man, that might have been the project I was looking most forward to that they announced with the slate that they announced projects in. Because they don't have to do anything other than what they want to do in that thing.
Exactly.
get really grimy. I want it. But yeah. Yeah, again, this is really good. I enjoyed it. It was a fun time. Mike, where can everybody find you?
You guys can find me on various social media at Captain K42. You can check out my quick thoughts on letterboxd.com/CoachK42. And you can follow Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and that place at Ren Pop Culture. You can also find us on YouTube, Podchaser, support our Patreon at patreon.com/Renegade Pop Culture. Listen to all of our podcasts on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen. And last but not least, everything can be found at renegadepopculture.com. If you can escape, so do we.
Absolutely. And you can find me everywhere at Organoid Zero, mainly on Twitch and YouTube, except for you'll be getting Kill a Kill, keeping going throughout this, but you won't see anything from me on Twitch because I'm just going to be enjoying some time off for my birthday. And then I'll be back streaming more Shadow of, and then I'm going to introduce one other one, which I'm picking between two series that I've shockingly never played before, being as much of a PlayStation fan as I am. But yeah, until next time, you'll see you all later.